Hello everyone, myself Chandan Kumar, Senior Faculty, Sri Chaitanya Education Institution. Today we are going to discuss NEET 2020 Chemistry for code G5. If you are solving some other codes, you can go directly to srichaitanya.net and you can find solution for the rest of the codes. So let's discuss question number 91. Sucrose on hydrolysis gives, we all know that on hydrolysis of sucrose, we get alpha D glucose and beta D fructose. So the second option is the correct option for the question number 91. So this is alpha D glucose structure and this is beta D fructose, together they form sucrose. Let's move to question number 92. Elimination reaction of 2-bromopentane to form pent-2-ene. So let's see what is the elimination reaction. We have 2-bromopentane. When we take a base, we get alpha beta elimination. It can remove hydrogen from here, we get major product. It can remove hydrogen from here, we get minor product. The major product is Setzer product, the minor product is Hofmann product. So this is alpha beta elimination, yes. So this is alpha beta elimination. It follows Setzer rule, yes. Dehydrohalogenation reaction, that is also correct. Dehydration reaction, no, this is not correct. So we'll go with ABC, that is the fourth option. Let's move to question number 93. In question number 93, we have to find out how many Faradays will be required for 20 gram of calcium from molten CaCl2. So we know that 20 gram of calcium is nothing but 0.5 mole. For 0.5 mole, we need 1 mole of electron. 1 mole of electron is nothing but 1 Faraday charge. So if we look at this question number 93, the first option is, the fourth option is correct. Okay, I have to read. Question number 93. The number of Faradays required to produce 20 gram of calcium from molten CaCl2. Atomic mass of Ca is given, that is 40. Now 20 gram of calcium, that means 0.5 mole. For 0.5 mole, we need 1 mole of electron. 1 mole of electron translates to 1 Faraday charge, that is 1 Faraday. So for this question, fourth option is the correct option. So we have number of moles of Ca2 plus 0.5, Ca2 plus 1 mole of Ca requires 2 mole of electron. So 1 mole of electron means 1 Faraday. So let's discuss 93. The number of Faradays required to produce 20 gram of calcium from the molten CaCl2. 20 gram of calcium is nothing but 0.5 mole of calcium. Now 0.5 mole of calcium comes from, for 1 mole Ca2 plus we require 2 mole of electron. So for 0.5 mole we need 1 mole of electron. Now 1 mole of electron translates to 1 Faraday, that is 96500 coulomb. So 1 Faraday, that is the fourth option, is the correct option for the question number 93. So this is the solution. Let's move to question number 94. An element has a body centered cubic structure with a cell edge of 288 picometer. The atomic radius is. Now the body centered, that means it follows root under 3a is equal to 4r. So root under 3a is equal to 4r. R will be root under 3 by 4, root under 3 by 4a. That means R is root under 3 by 4 into 288. That is the fourth option. Okay. Let's move to question number 95. HCl was passed through the solution of calcium chloride, magnesium chloride and NaCl. Which of the following compound crystallizes first? We know that KSP for NaCl is lesser than that of the KSP for CaCl2 and MgCl2. That means if we pass HCl solution, it is NaCl which will precipitate or crystallize first. Let's move to question number 96. Find out the solubility of NiOH twice in 0.1 molar NaOH. Given that the ionic product of NiOH twice is 2 into 10 raised to power minus 50. So we know that we have NiOH twice. Now that NiOH twice will be Ni2 plus 2OH minus. This is S, this is 2S. Now NaOH is given to us is 0.1. So KSP will be S into 2S plus 0.1 square. Now the 2S is nothing in front of 0.1 or insignificant we can say. So we will get S as 2 into 10 raised to power minus 13 mole per liter. So the fourth option for question number 96 is correct. Let's move to question number 97. For the reaction 2Cl gas giving a Cl2 gas, the correct option is, now two chlorine atoms are combining together to give us chlorine molecule. There is a bond formation and there is a number of particles are getting reduced to 2. Let's take the question number 97. For the reaction 2Cl gas giving a Cl2 gas, the correct option is, so here two chlorine atoms are forming bond together to form chlorine molecule. Two particles of the chlorine are combining together to give one particle of the chlorine. So for this reaction, since bond is being formed, enthalpy of the reaction will be negative. Since the number of particles are decreasing, so the entropy of the reaction is also going to decrease. So delta H reaction will be less than 0, delta S reaction will also be less than 0. Let's see the question number 98. Which of the following is correct order of increasing field strength of ligands to form coordination compounds? This is from spectrochemical series. We know that the fourth option, which follows the correct order, Cn minus is greater than oxalate and F minus and then SCN minus. So the fourth option is the correct option for the question number 98. Let's say question number 99, the calculated spin-only magnetic moment for Cr2 plus. Now we have Cr2 plus, we know that Cr2 plus is 3d4, 4s0. 3d4 means there are 4 unpaired electron, that means mu will be root under n into n plus 2, that is root under 24 Bohr magnetron. Root under 24 Bohr magnetron will translate to 4.90 Bohr magnetron. So the first option is correct option for the question number 99. Now Cr2 plus, we have 3d4, 4s0, and then we have number of unpaired electron 4. The magnetic moment is root under n into n plus 2, that is root under 4 into 4 plus 2, it will translate to root under 24 Bohr magnetron. So for question number 99, it is the first option which is correct. Let's move to question number 100. Which of the following set of molecules will have zero dipole moment? So if we look at the third option is having all the molecules which is going to have zero dipole moment. So let's see, we have BF3, this dipole will cancel the resultant of this dipole. Now this dipole will cancelling each other, this dipole will be cancelling each other, and finally this dipole will cancel this dipole. So finally we have the third option where every molecule is cancelling, having a zero dipole. So third option is correct for the question number 100. Now let's move to 101. The following metal, so we have basically find out which is the responsible cation for the transmission of the nerve signal. We all know that it is sodium plus and potassium plus, which is responsible cation for the transmission of the nerve signal. So for 101, it is potassium, which is the correct option. So the third option is correct for 101. Now let's move to question number 102. An alkene on ozonolysis gives methanol, one of the product, its structure is. So we are having one product as a methanol. The only possible structure will be the second one, because on ozonolysis here we will get the methanol. So here if we ozonolyze it for reductive ozonolysis, it will give us methanol as a product. So for question number 102, it is the second option which is correct. Now moving to question number 103. The rate constant for a first order reaction is given to us, and we have to find the time so that 2 gram of the reactant get reduced to 0.2. We know this is the first order reaction. We will apply the formula Kt is equal to 2.303 log N naught upon Nt. N naught is the initial concentration, Nt will be the final concentration. So with this formula we will get T is equal to 500 second. So for question number 103, it is second option which is correct, that is 500 second. Now let's move to question number 104. The reaction between acetone and methyl magnesium chloride. So acetone and methyl magnesium chloride, this will attack here, we will get tert butyl alcohol. This is tert butyl alcohol. So the second option is correct for question number 104. Moving to 105. Which of the following is natural polymer? Looking at the option, the fourth option is nothing but natural rubber, cis 1,4 polyisoprene is nothing but natural rubber. It is made up of isoprene. So isoprene is the monomer and the polymer is cis 1,4 polyisoprene. So for question number 105, the fourth option is correct option. Now let's move to 106. We have to identify the correct statement from the following. A is CO2 is used as refrigerant for the ice cream and frozen food. Now here if we look carefully, it is CO2 gas. It is the CO2 solid which is used, not the gas. So the first option is not correct. For B, the structure of C60 contains 12 carbon rings and 25 5-member rings. So basically it is 12 6-member rings and 25 5-member ring. So this is also not correct because it is having 12 pentagons, but it is having 20 hexagons instead of 25. So B is incorrect, A is also incorrect. Now moving to C, ZSM, a type of zeolite is used to convert alcohol into gasoline. This is correct. We know that ZSM5 can be used to convert alcohol into fuel. Now the D option, CO is colorless and odorless gas. Yes, CO is colorless and odorless gas. So out of these 4 options, only 2 options are correct, that is C and D. So the third option is correct for 106, that is C and D. Now let's move to question number 107. The correct option for the free expansion. Now this term free expansion is there. We have to focus on this term, free expansion of an ideal gas under adiabatic condition. So we are given adiabatic condition, that means Q is going to be 0, and since the free expansion is there, work done will be also be 0. Using the first law, delta U is equal to Q plus W, both Q and W is going to be 0, that means delta U will be also 0. Now delta U is nothing but NCVM delta T. Now delta T will be also 0. So for this adiabatic, particular this kind of adiabatic expansion, we are going to have all 3, Q, delta T and W, all 3 going to be 0. So the fourth option is going to be correct for question number 107. Let's move to question number 108. Which of the following oxo acid of sulfur has peroxy linkage? That is the linkage between oxygen and oxygen. We have H2SO4, H2S2O8, H2S2O7 and H2SO3. If you look at the structures, we know that H2S2O8 is having a peroxy linkage here. That means the second option is the only correct option for the question number 108, that is H2S2O8 peroxodisulfuric acid. Moving to 109. Identify the compound in the following sequence. So we have been given question number 109, identify the compounds in the following reaction. So we have been given this reaction, we have to find X. So if you look, there is only one possibility to get the product if there are 2 chlorine atoms attached to the carbon, not 3. So usually we do this mistake. Here there is only 2 chlorine atom which should be coming in X. So this 2 hydrogen will be replaced and we get 2 chlorine atom. So if we see the second option is correct, we'll get 2 chlorine atom which will hydrolyze to give its aldehyde. So for this reaction, second option is correct option. So let's move to question number 110. The number of proton, neutrons and electron in lutetium. So number of proton is going to be equal to atomic number of neutron is going to be mass number minus atomic number, and number of electron in a neutral atom is always equal to number of protons. So for this question we are going to have number of proton 71, number of neutron that is 175 minus 71, that is 104, and the number of electron which is going to be 71. So the fourth option is correct option for question number 110. Let's move to question number 111. Identify the incorrect statement. So we have been given 4 statements and we have to find incorrect statement. The transition metal and their compounds are known for their catalytic activity due to their ability to adopt multiple oxidation state and to form complex. Yes, this is the correct statement, we know about it. Interstitial compounds are those that were formed when some small atoms like hydrogen, carbon, nitrogens are trapped inside the crystal lattice of the metal. That is also the correct statement. The oxidation state of chromium in chromate and dichromate are not the same. Now this is wrong statement. We know that in chromate and dichromate the chromium oxidation state is 6. So it is +6. So the third option is incorrect. Cr2 plus is a stronger reducing agent than Fe2 plus in water. That is also correct statement. So for question number 111 it is third option which is incorrect. Now let's move to question number 112. Which of the following is a cationic detergent? The first is sodium stearate, second is cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide. Yes, we know that cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide is a cationic detergent. So for question number 112, second option is correct option. So these are the structures of all these surfacates. So we have sodium stearate, cetyl trimethyl ammonium bromide, it is a cationic, rest of them are anionic detergents. Now moving to question number 113. The freezing point depression constant, that is Kf, so this is Kf of benzene is 512 Kelvin kilogram per mole. The freezing point depression for the solution of molality 0.078 molar containing a non-electrolyte solution. So we have been given a non-electrolyte solution, that means the Ventov factor is going to be 1, and we have been also given Kf value and molality. So we have to find depression in freezing point. We know that delta Tf is I times Kf into molality. If we put the values in this formula, we will get the correct answer. So for this question, second option is correct. Delta Tf I Kf into molality, and I is equal to 1 for non-electrolyte. If we put the values, it will come 0.39936, approximately 0.40. So closest possible answer is second for question number 113. Moving to question number 114. We have to identify the incorrect match. If we look at A option, it is anilanium, anyl trium, anyl hexium and ananium. So anilanium is manganium, that is 101, anyl trium, that is 103, that is lawrencium, anyl hexium, that is 106, is seaborgium, and finally we have ananium, that is 111, it's a roentgenium. So the fourth option is incorrect match for question number 114. Moving to question number 115 now. The mixture which shows positive deviation from the Raoult's law. Benzene toluene, we know that it follows Raoult's law, so it doesn't show any kind of deviation, either positive or negative. Acetone and chloroform, we know that it is a negative deviation. Chloroethane and bromethane, again it is ideal solution, it will not deviate positive or negative. Ethanol and acetone. If you look at ethanol and acetone, the force of attraction between ethanol and acetone is higher than that of ethanol and acetone. That means the attractive force are decreasing when we are adding two components of the solution. So the fourth will show positive deviation from Raoult's law. Now moving to question number 116. We have been given some oxide and we have to match their nature. The first is carbon monoxide. We know that carbon monoxide is a neutral oxide. BaO is a basic oxide, Al2O3, amphoteric oxides, and finally we have Cl2O7, which is acidic oxide. It's a very acidic oxide. It forms HClO4 when we put in water. It's a very good acid. So for question number 116, first option is correct option. Moving to question number 117, which one of the following has maximum number of atom? We have been given 1 gram of magnesium, 1 gram of O2, 1 gram of Li, and 1 gram of silver. Now we know that atomic mass for lithium is minimum. That means the number of moles of lithium is going to be maximum. So will be the number of atoms, because number of mole will be high, so will the number of atoms will be high. So looking at the options, we can easily say the third option is correct for the question number 117. Now moving to question number 118, reaction between benzaldehyde and acetophenone. Now benzaldehyde, if we see, is non-enolizable and acetophenone is enolizable in the presence of dilute NaOH. So we have been given an enolizable carbonyl and a non-enolizable carbonyl, so it will show cross-aldol condensation. So this is the reaction, we'll get this product, and this is example of cross-aldol. Moving to question number 119, a tertiary butyl carbocation is more stable than secondary butyl carbocation due to which reason? We know that third butyl carbocation is stabilized by 9 hyperconjugative structure and due to plus I effect of 3 methyl groups. So looking at all the 4 options, it is only hyperconjugation which can satisfy the stability, because plus I is not given in the options. So for question number 119, the third option is correct option. This carbocation is stabilized by 3 plus I and 9 hyperconjugation. Now let's move to question number 120. Which one of the following is not correct about the carbon monoxide? It reduces oxygen carrying ability of the blood. That is true. Why? Because carboxyhemoglobin is more stable than oxyhemoglobin. That is the reason for the carbon monoxide poisoning, and we know about it. So the first option is correct. The carboxyhemoglobin is less stable than oxyhemoglobin? No. Carboxyhemoglobin is more stable than oxyhemoglobin. So for the question number 120, the second option is incorrect option. Third, it is produced due to incomplete combustion. Yes, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. Yes. So out of 4 options, first, third and 4 is correct. Second is incorrect statement about carbon monoxide. So for question number 120, it is the second option which is correct. Now moving to question number 121. We have been given some amino acids. We have been asked which is the basic amino acids. Now in the basic amino acids, the number of NH2 group are more than number of COH group. So we have to find which of the following. So for this question, we need to know the structure of all the 4 amino acids. So if we go for the structures, we have alanine, that is having 1 NH2, 1 COH, and then we have lysine, we have 2 NH2 groups. Tyrosine, we have 1 NH2, 1 COH, and serine, we have 1 NH2, 1 COH. So lysine is the correct solution for question number 121. That is the third option. In lysine, we can have 2 NH2 groups together. So moving to question number 122 now. Urea reacts with water to form A, which decomposes to form B. B when passes through Cu2 plus gives deep blue coloration. We know that when urea decomposes in water, it forms NH3, and NH3 when reacts with Cu2 plus, it forms CuNH3 2 plus, tetramine copper 2 plus. So tetramine copper 2 plus, we know that it's a blue solution. It's a very intense blue solution basically. So the first option is correct statement for 122. Moving to question number 123. A mixture of N2 and argon gases are taken in cylinder. Their amount is given and total pressure is given. we have to find out the partial pressure of N2. We know that partial pressure is nothing but mole fraction into total pressure. So all we have to do, we have to find the mole fraction of N2 first, and then we have to multiply it with the total pressure to find out the partial pressure of N2. So number of moles of N2 will be 0.25, number of moles of air will be 0.20. Pressure, partial pressure of N2 is total pressure into mole fraction of H2. So total pressure is 27, mole fraction is 0.25 upon 0.45, which will give us 15 bar. So for question number 123, 15 bar is the correct solution. Now moving to question number 124. Identify the correct statement from the following. Blister copper has blistered appearance due to evolution of SO2, not CO2 gas. So the first option is incorrect. Vapor phase refining is carried out for nickel by Van Arkel method? No. It is carried out by Mond's process. So second is also incorrect. Pig iron can be molded into variety of shapes? Yes, it can be. Wrought iron is impure iron with 4% carbon? No, it is less than 0.5%. So third option seems to be correct. Out of 4 options, only third option is going to be correct because rest of them are incorrect. So pig iron, we'll go with the pig iron. 124, third option is correct. Moving to question number 125. We have been given an equilibrium between sucrose, H2O, giving us glucose and fructose. So this is hydrolysis of sucrose. If you remember the question number 1, which was nothing but hydrolysis. So this is the reaction, sucrose plus H2O giving us glucose plus fructose. For this reaction, we have to find out this relation. If the equilibrium constant is given, we have to find what is delta G naught for the reaction. So now we don't have to do any kind of calculation, which is very good here because it will save lot of time. So what we have to do, we just have to find the expression. Delta G is minus of RT ln Kc. We'll put the values and the fourth option will come as a correct option. So for question number 125, the fourth option, we'll go ahead with the fourth option, and this is how we'll solve. Moving to question number 126. Identify a molecule which does not exist. Looking at this question, if you go through MOT, the number of electron in BMO and NBMO, ABMO, question number 126. Identify a molecule which does not exist. So we have Li2, C2, O2 and He2. If we go through MOT, in MOT, He2, the number of electron in bonding molecular orbital and number of electron in anti-bonding molecular orbital are same. That means it will yield to zero bond order. That basically tells us that it will not exist. So for question number 126, fourth option is correct because there is no decrease in energy. Number of electron in BMO and number of electron in ABMO are same, due to which there is zero bond order. So for 126, we have fourth option as a correct option. This is electronic configuration. So we have Be2, sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, bond order Nb minus Na by 2, 4 minus 4 by 2, that is 0. 0 bond order indicates the no existence of the molecule. 127. An increase in the concentration of the reactants of a reaction leads to change in. Suppose that you are increasing the reactant concentration in a reaction, what will happen? The more number of particles will be there colliding per unit volume per second. Basically, it will increase the collision frequency. So for question number 127, heat of reaction, threshold energy, collision frequency, activation energy, third option, collision frequency will increase because of the increase in the concentration of reactant molecules. Moving to question number 128. Which of the following alkane cannot made in good yield by Wood's reaction? Now if you recall the Wood's reaction, basically we get even number of carbon chain. So even number of carbon should be there in the chain of alkane. 2,3-dimethyl butane, yes, we can make it. N-heptane, no, N-heptane is having 7 carbon atom in the chain. That means we cannot make N-heptane in a good yield through the Woods reaction. N-butane and N-hexane can be made. So for 128, we'll go ahead with the second option. Woods reaction is not used for preparation of alkane having odd number of carbon atoms in the chain. Moving to question number 129. Now in 129, which of the following amine will give carbylamine test? Now carbylamine test is given by amines 1 degree amine. It can be aliphatic, it can be aromatic, but it should be 1 degree amine. Looking at the all other option, this is 2 degree, this is 3 degree, this is again 2 degree, and this is 1 degree. This is aromatic amine, but that is not our concern. This will give carbylamine test, which will nothing but formation of aryl isocyanate, which is a foul smelling gas. Moving to question number 130. On electrolysis of dilute sulfuric acid using platinum electrode, the product obtained at anode. Now we have sulfate ion and water for the oxidation at anode, and we know that oxidation of sulfate requires very high energy. So we will go with oxidation of water that will result into production of O2 at anode. So we'll go with the first option, that is oxygen gas. So moving to question number 131. What is the change in oxidation number of carbon in the following reaction? We have CH4 getting chlorinated, forming CCl4 and HCl gas. In CH4, the oxidation number of carbon is -4. In CCl4, the oxidation number of carbon is +4. So looking at the change, it is from -4 to +4. For 131, second option is correct. Now moving to 132. Anisole on cleavage with HI gives. So let's see. This is anisole, this will be protonated and I- will attack through SN2 path, forming CH3I and phenol. So we'll get methyl iodide and phenol. That is the fourth option for question number 132. Moving to question number 133. Measuring zeta potential is useful for the determination of the property of the colloidal. We know that zeta potential can be used to measure the stability of a colloidal solution. So for 133, second option is correct. It is the stability. It is used to measure the stability of a colloidal solution. Moving to question number 134. Paper chromatography is an example. We all know that paper chromatography is an example of partition chromatography. In paper chromatography, both moving phase and stationary phase are liquid. So for question number 134, we'll go with the first option, that is the partition chromatography. Moving to question number 135. Which of the following is the correct option? So we have to basically use matrix match. CO plus H2 both are in the gaseous state. It is nothing but synthesis gas. So for A, it is third option. Now temporary hardness of water is due to magnesium hydrogen carbonate and calcium hydrogen carbonate. So for B, it is first option. B2S6, we all know that B2S6 is nothing but electron deficient hydride. So for B2S6, it is the second option. S2O2 is a non-planar structure. So for D, it is the fourth option. Now only one is satisfying, that is fourth option. For 135, we'll go ahead with the fourth option.